I want to welcome everyone to the show. My name is Jodi Taves. I'll be hosting today. I am the owner of Explora Creative, and today we are talking to Sandra Beatty of Websites That Convert, and we're going to be talking about how to write for your website. You're this busy entrepreneur, you're a bit time crunched. You decide that you do need to write for your website. You don't necessarily have a budget for hiring a copywriter at this point.
Mhm.
Um, what do you feel like is like, where would you focus on writing for, like, what tasks would you focus on first? How would you focus, or how would you go about writing for your website as a time crunched entrepreneur?
That's a big question.
It is.
So I would suggest um, finding out where people are most visiting your page. And I would start with the page that's being visited the most.
Mhm.
If you don't know how to get that kind of information, assume it's your homepage. So start with your homepage.
Yeah.
And I would strongly recommend getting Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand. He
Mhm.
outlines the framework in that book.
Yeah.
Or you can watch some videos on YouTube. That's even easier,
Yeah.
where people teach what the framework is. You could just Google it and just follow the formula.
Mhm.
But before you start on that, you got to make sure you know really who you want to be working with, and you can clearly identify, you know, in a paragraph, you really understand what they want and how you can help them and what they're looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to absolutely have that understanding before you even start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So outline your ideal client first.
Yes.
Do some research in terms of the story brand framework, because that's just going to give you a lot of, I mean, I have read through a lot of that information as well, definitely have used some of it. Um, And then if you don't know which page people are visiting, assume it's your home page. And if you do have Google Analytics, go into whatever pages you've got, see which
Mhm.
one's being visited the most, and then focus your writing on that page, like just on doing good writing for that page.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start with the most visited page.
Yeah.
And I would also add to that to know what it is that you want them to do once they
Yes.
get to the page.
I was just thinking that. I was like, and you need to know what is the first action you want them to take.
Yes. And
Yeah.
if you don't know where you can find out in Google Analytics how many people are coming to your site that are new versus returning visitors,
Mhm.
assume that the vast majority of them are new visitors, and new visitors are not very likely to want to talk to you yet. So think, okay, what is an action I can get them to take? Should I give them, it's usually a freebie of some kind. It could be a quiz, like a form of a quiz. It could be
Mhm.
a case study. It could be an info guide. It could be a checklist.
Yeah.
There's so many, it could be a video, a three-part video series. There's so many options
Yeah.
in terms of freebies, but it's got to be something to get them on your email list so that you can continue to develop well, I say develop a relationship with them, but that you're going to stay top of mind
Mm,
in their when they're thinking, more heavily or seriously about whatever it was that brought them to your site in the first place.
right.
When you're thinking about that, what that freebie should be, again, the better you know your demographic, the better you can answer that question.
Mhm.
But there's one caveat I would add to that is don't let what you think is going to be valuable to them be necessarily the answer. It's a good starting point. The reason I say that is because there's a difference between what we see as valuable and what they perceive as valuable.
Mm,
And often things that are high value um, to them can actually be something that's really, really simple that just gives them a quick win.
mm.
They're not looking to take a 2-hour free course to get a result that they want. They want a result a lot faster than that.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give them some excellent information in a very brief period of time, or get them to try something in a very brief time that's going to have more of a, it's more of an impact on some kind of something that they're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Um, so just don't try not to, what I'm saying is not to let our pride in what we've created, uh, really, what's the word? Tell us that, oh yeah, we're on the right track. This is what it is. You got to test it. Oftentimes
Mm,
just start testing it and not being tied to the outcome. So you test something, see is it going to work. If you don't get the results you're looking for, and that gives you some information. It tells you that, okay, this isn't what people want. It's not resonating with them. Why isn't it resonating with them? Do I have to change the freebie?
Mhm.
Is it the way I've talked about it that isn't appealing to them? But it's just information that helps to guide you to make the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously knowing like I feel like for our clients, everyone needs a book now button because that is
Yes.
definitely something that people are going onto their websites to do is to book now.
Yes.
But there's this other element of if they're not ready to book now, be prepared to have another action that they can take that nurtures a
Exactly.
relationship and keeps you top of mind.
Exactly. Yes, there needs to be what's called a secondary call to action. So give people a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
And often, if you can have more than two choices, like maybe it could be five choices, meaning a book now and four other freebies, it gives you a chance to see which freebies are people,
Test.
it's a testing ground. It's
Mhm.
like what's resonating with people, what are they really interested in? So you can find out what's working and then drop one or two of the other ones that aren't really doing anything for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a great way to look at it. Give them a few different options so that you get feedback in terms of what is
exactly.
important, but also keeping in mind that we want, again, we've got time crunched business owners, clinic owners, working on their website, but then we also
Yes.
have time crunched clients or distraction, like distracted clients who are looking for a quick win as well. So thinking about that when you're creating, I'm going to call it a lead magnet. For
Yeah.
people that don't know what a lead magnet is, it's something that you exchange, like something of value that exchange for an email address, right? If you've ever signed
Exactly.
up for a newsletter for like a freebie PDF download, that's a lead magnet.
Yes.
But it's, yeah, creating something that's of value to them, that's a quick win, that they would give you their email address to get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What would you say is one of like the biggest or like the most common mistakes you see people make when they are writing for their website?
Okay. I'm going to say it only is, I'm saying this because you just used the word.
Okay.
And I know you're just using words as an example. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
nothing, it's just I see all the time. Subscribe to our newsletter.
Mm.
Oh, and
And
I
why
say,
is that a mistake?
okay,
Tell us more.
because yes, so first of all, the word subscribe and sometimes can create it's a friction word. It,
Oh,
it
okay.
implies work. It implies I'm going to get a lot of stuff in my inbox that I didn't ask for. You're going to be promoting to me and blah 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 blah, right?
Yeah.
There's a negative connotation
There's
to
a
the word
guard up
subscribe.
to that word.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
we put the gates back up,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And the word newsletter also implies work because it means I don't, I'm going to be reading something. And is the content even good? I don't even know if it's going to
Mm.
be what I'm looking for. Is it going to be relevant to me at all? I have
Yeah,
no idea.
yeah,
So just take that off right away.
yeah.
And this would actually be important if you've got a lot of new visitors coming. We don't want to tell them to subscribe to the newsletter. What
Mm.
we want to do instead, for example, we could give the newsletter a name. So let's say that I, this is going to be a crappy example, but because I don't think well on my feet with examples, but let's say that you're a chiropractor and you have called your newsletter, you're calling it like the Backmobile. I don't know. Like you've given it a
I
name.
love
Okay.
it. We've got a name. Yeah,
We've got a name. Use ChatGPT can come up with fabulous names sometimes.
yeah.
So, you're giving a newsletter, you're giving your newsletter a name, and tell them what they're going to get out of it. So, don't just have subscribe to my newsletter. You can say something like, "Batmobile will be in your inbox weekly," right? So now we've told them, but you're going to give that a name that
Expect it.
actually they know what it's about,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Get back
And
at it or something. Yeah,
yeah, exactly, exactly. Great, great. Get back at it. That's great. That's so much better. And you're going to tell them how often, and you're simply saying it's going to their inbox. So you're not actually, it just sounds like, oh, okay. But if you can give also some, like subheading that talks about what they're going to get out of it. Remember, they're asking what's in
what
it
can
for
it
me.
be? Mm.
Answer the question. Like, and don't say tips. Try not to say tips, but like this newsletter is in a different way, but basically saying the newsletter is designed to help you solve your back issues. to reduce your symptoms. That is all this newsletter is designed to help you do, because that's what they're looking for, right?
Right. If you're like
And
doing
just
like stretches for your desk or, just like pinpointing their problems because you have that information and taking some of
exactly.
those problems that the newsletter would solve.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then have like their first name, email. You could even put like a quote from someone who's been reading the newsletter and got a lot of value out of it
Hmm.
underneath that. That helps again to kind of lower their apprehension, their doubt. They see
Hmm.
someone had something good to say about this and they got some really great value out of it. Okay, I'm going to be more inclined to want to get that too.
Right.
So yes, that would be like that. Make that page, that part awesome.
Okay, so we're going to take off any subscribe to our newsletters and we're going to make them more creative. Again, thinking about our client, making them very focused on like how does it solve their problem?
Yes,
And then again, decreasing that uncertainty, like reduce it or like reversing the risk by putting
yes.
a testimonial, telling them how many times they're going to get something into their inbox, just like reducing that uncertainty. And then what do we write on those subscribe here buttons then that say subscribe? Do we say sign
Make
up?
it
What do
a
you put
call
it?
to value. No, a call with something called
Okay,
get rid of, also don't say sign up
right.
or
Okay,
register or any of those words.
okay.
So say the button could say, I want my back pain resolved now, or
Um,
something like that, where
mhm.
something that's going to remind them of the outcome that they could potentially get from this newsletter.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Or give me, get my, something like that, where they're getting something. And then what is it you're going to get? You're going to get your back pain reduced. You're going to
Right.
get stronger. You're going to, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. That's awesome. What stage of business do you find that clients benefit from copywriting the most? So, like, where are you in your business life when working with a copywriter is really, really impactful?
I think once you've got some experience, you've got a really good understanding of who it is you want to work with
Mhm.
and understanding about them. And you have Google Analytics, you've got surveys, you've got testimonials, you have reviews, all that kind of stuff. So you've got a lot of material for a copywriter to work from and to kind of sift through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a great time to start. So not when you're at the beginning of the journey.
Yeah. Where can people find you online? So you have a YouTube channel. There's some other places you live online if people want to get more information. Plus, you have some really great like practical advice, like tips on YouTube. Tell us about that. Where can we find you?
Yes, so I'm really only active on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I have my own website, sandrabeatty.com.
Mhm.
And I have a YouTube channel. You can just search Sandra Beatty. It will come up there. And I do have every Friday, almost every Friday of the year. Usually they're in like 3 month increments
Yeah.
of something called Conversion Express. And it's just a 15-minute live webinar where I teach one concept for people that they can, it's meant to be simple, doable, and actionable immediately on your website, just to help get more conversions from your website. It's all these little tweaks that you make that can
Wow.
help get better conversions.
And I've watched those. They're great. They are really like very to the point, super practical, super insightful, and so fun because they're actually on like live websites. So they feel very real.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. Well, Sandra, thank you so much for being on the show. All the links that we have will be included, like all the links to your channels. We'll include those in the show notes. And I just wanted to thank everyone for watching and being here. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you found this valuable. And make sure you go check out Sandra's content on YouTube and her Friday sessions because they are very, very awesome. Um,
Okay.
so thank you.
And thank you for having me, Jodi.
Oh, my pleasure.